Let's dive right into today's explainer of Rainy Day Surprise. This is a fantastic excerpt adapted from the beloved classic All of a Kind Family by Sidney Taylor. If you're a fan of those really charming, character-driven narratives, you are absolutely going to love this. We're breaking down exactly how a simple, everyday shift in a routine turns into a completely unforgettable afternoon.
So, before we really get going into the plot, I want you to ask yourself something. How do you usually pass the time when the weather is super gloomy and you're just totally trapped indoors? Does the day drag on forever, or do you somehow find a way to make it magical? Well, the family in our text today faces this exact scenario, and honestly, their solution is nothing short of delightful.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover the Rainy Day Surprise, Meet the Five Sisters, Uncovering Literary Treasures, the Library Game, and finally, Lessons from the Rain.
All right, Section 1, the Rainy Day Surprise, an unexpected gift.
So, picture this. The scene opens right in Papa's shop. Papa's busy working, giving a cheery wave to the kids. But then, Charlie steps in and drops this surprise that the children had absolutely no idea was coming. Right there, sitting in the paper section of the shop, is a massive load of books. I mean, just imagine the sheer scale of that from a child's perspective. Literally a mountain of undiscovered stories delivered right to their feet.
Now, the backstory of where these books came from? It's actually really fascinating. Papa explains that a peddler, which is a traveling vendor of small wares, brought them into the shop. Apparently, a rich man who was moving uptown just sold off his entire collection. But there's a catch. There's a real ticking clock to this surprise, because Papa explicitly mentions he has to resell the whole lot this very afternoon. So the kids only have this tiny, fleeting window of time to explore.
Moving right along to Section 2, Meet the Five Sisters, Character Reactions.
It's so fun to see how each sister's personality completely shines through in her unique reaction to this mountain of books. You've got little 4-year-old Gertie just happily sitting on a heap of newspapers with a magazine. 6-year-old Charlotte dives straight in and pulls out a brand new book of fairy tales. Then there's 10-year-old Henny. She turns it into a totally physical game, just tossing books back and forth with Charlie. Meanwhile, the oldest 12-year-old Ella, along with 8-year-old Sarah, take a completely different approach. They are carefully pegging the books one by one.
And you know, the really crucial point here is the contrast. You've got the chaotic, spontaneous fun of the younger girls. Henny tossing books through the air, little Gertie just plopping down on the newspapers. And on the flip side, you have the highly organized, methodical approach of Sarah and Ella, carefully sorting everything out. It's a wonderful, realistic dynamic that literally anyone with siblings is going to immediately recognize.
Section 3, Uncovering Literary Treasures, Hidden Gems. As Ella and Sarah methodically sort through the pile, they literally strike gold. They find a whole set of Charles Dickens books. They're pulling out titles they've never even heard of before, like Sketches by Boz. You can practically feel the excitement and the rising tension in the text as they desperately turn to Charlie, wondering aloud if Papa will actually let them keep the entire set. Because remember, Papa said he had to sell them all that afternoon.
But wait, it gets better. While the Dickens set was amazing, Ella uncovers something even more special to her. She finds this incredible book called The Dolls That You Love. On one side of the page, there are these stories about daily happenings, but on the other side, actual paper cutouts of dolls and their clothes. This just brilliantly highlights the tactile magic of physical books from this era. It wasn't just words on a page, it was an interactive toy, a complete physical experience right there in her hands.
Okay, Section 4, The Library Game, Imaginative Play.
So, what's their game plan? First, the kids divide up their chosen books. Next, they troop back to the front of the shop, arms totally full, to show Papa what they found. Step 3 is the real shocker here. They can hardly believe their ears when Papa actually gives them permission to keep them all. With this massive victory secured, Sarah immediately structures a game for when they get home. She declares they're going to play library, and of course, she gets to be the library lady who stamps everyone's books.
But come on, you can't just play a game like that without looking the part, right? To make the library game feel truly authentic, the sisters decide they need to dress Sarah up for her role. They specifically mention they're going to comb her hair into a fancy pompadour just like a character they know named Miss Ellen. If you don't know, a pompadour is a hairstyle where the hair is swept up super high right off the forehead. It's a tiny detail, sure, but it perfectly shows just how immersive and totally committed their imaginative play really is.
Which brings us to Section 5, Lessons from the Rain, Core Takeaways.
because really, Rainy Day Surprise is about way more than just some kids getting free books from their dad's shop. It beautifully demonstrates finding profound joy in super simple things. It highlights the inherent magic and the lasting value of physical books. It gives us this absolute masterclass in sibling bonding, driven entirely by shared imagination. And above all, it shows how a little bit of creativity can turn gloomy, confining weather into an incredible opportunity for adventure.
Right at the end of the excerpt, Sarah just hits the nail on the head and summarizes the entire narrative arc with one simple, beautiful line. I never thought a rainy day could be such fun. It's just a wonderful realization about the power of an active imagination and a positive perspective. The rain absolutely didn't ruin their day. It set the stage for one of their best days yet.
And that wraps up our explainer for today. But I do want to leave you with a thought. Think back to our initial question. Now, with the inspiration of these 5 sisters fresh in your mind, next time you are stuck inside and the rain is just pouring down, what treasures will you uncover and what kind of adventures are you going to create?